Welcome in. And today I'm going to talk about a simple thing which has been plaguing the Marvel Rivals community as of recently and in the history of Marvel Rivals in total, which is the overreaction problem. Specifically this time with nerfs. Now let me explain. There has been several characters in the past where they got one slight nerf, a slap on their wrist, suddenly they're shot in a back alley, and now they're dead. They're not good anymore. Let me just list a few examples right now. Daredevil. He got a few slaps on the wrist during his first few nerfs. Okay, Dive Main said he's dead, shot in a back alley. He got more slaps on the wrist. Dead, shot in a back alley. Got a little bit more as of recent seasons. Dead, shot in a back alley. Guess what's still happening? He's #1 in win rates. Not just in total in all ranks, but also in Celestial and above, the highest with a 57-ish win rate. The other day, Human Torch, his movement got reworked with, I believe, is a buff. He has a better Ultron movement ability, which you still get the original Torch movement after the burst, and you get 2 of those stacked up right out of the gate. Torch mains held a funeral. I am not joking about that. They held a funeral for a video game character because he got a rework to his movement, which is better and has in total better movement than every single other flying character in the entire game other than Angela. Blade, he kept getting micro buffs. Here's a few more buffs. Here's a few more buffs. Here's a few more changes. The devs didn't want to heavily overbuff him, which I agree with. You don't want to overcorrect. Blade mains held a funeral for him. Like, guys, grow up. Just grow up. Spider-Man got 1 meter off of his uppercut. Spider-Man main said he was shot and now he's dead in a back alley. They nerfed him to the ground. Oh, that 1 meter nerf was a whole lot. And some will say, oh, it's also because he got that minus 10% from his damage from the team up anchor. Well, yeah, he got that 10% back in the buffs in the same exact patch. So that doesn't really matter. It equalizes out. And a lot of people in this game, I listed DPS because those are the most apparent ones, are the most obvious ones that people talk about, the loudest ones. But even Hulk, people held a funeral for Hulk, and then he got tons of buffs. Black Panther mains, they got a quality of life buff. I wouldn't call it really a buff, it's quality of life. No really cooldowns on his jump off of walls. Okay, it's quality of life. Doesn't really change his gameplay too much. They complained so much to the devs, created an entire movement, held a funeral for him again, of course, said that doesn't help him, he's still shot and dead in a back alley. So the devs gave him 3 more buffs. What happened with the Blade funeral? They gave him more buffs. Guess what's gonna happen now since they held a funeral for Torch? He's also gonna get more buffs next season. And guess what? You guys who held that funeral better not complain about the flying meta. Those people who complain about Black Panther's quality of life change, you cannot complain if supports get buffs. You just cannot complain about these things if you cried so much and made a spectacle out of nothing. I get when a character gets nerfed to the ground. I'm a Loki main. When his healing got nerfed by 20% and his damage got nerfed 33% in the span of 2 seasons, 2 half seasons depending how you look at it, I was still playing him. I didn't hold a funeral for him. I didn't complain about him making long rants and videos. I didn't go into people's comment section saying you're wrong about him, he's dead, he's this, let's hold a funeral for him. No. I accepted that he got nerfed to the ground. I still played him, still got top 500 with him that season. And I believe all this stems from, again, big content creators, because, you know, all of it does eventually. Because if a strong character gets a nerf and there's a bunch of mains on that character, people need to shut up about it. It's okay, your strong character got nerfed. They're no longer going to be meta, except if they're Daredevil or they're still hard meta. Just because your strong character is slightly less strong doesn't mean they're shot and dead in a back alley. You guys need to grow up in this community. Stop trying to live like you're being pandered to. Because it's not going to end well. Because guess what's going to happen? Power creep. You complain, you get your characters buff, power creep's going to happen. You've seen it happen with this already. Meanwhile, there's some characters out there as well who are weak, but when they get buffs, like, oh, they're going to be hard meta now. Oh, this is a giga buff. I remember when Ultron got his second drone. Keep in mind, before his alt buffs this season, he had 6 buffs in 8 nerfs. 8 nerfs. And he got his second drone. That's his 6th buff. I saw people on Twitter say they giga buff buffed Ultron, he's gonna be hard meta because supports are complaining about him so much. It's like, no. Even now, he's on the weaker side of supports, and he's really only excelling in triple support, which has a negative win rate in all ranks, in all forms of triple support. Sure, have I won with him in double support? Yes, but it takes a lot more skill to actually pull off. And back when he had one drone, he was pretty much useless in every comp except for that one season, which was the flying meta, which was heavily catering to him. And people are complaining about the Luna buff, increase in healing. Guess what? She has one of the lowest win rates in Celestial and above. She's horrible right now. Sure, are there good Lunas out there? Yes, but in this dive and brawl meta where everyone's in your face, one snowball isn't going to make that huge of a difference. Sure, she has self-snowflake, but that's not really going to do much. And in circling it back to big content creators, 90% of the problems in Marvel Rivals right now wouldn't be nearly, let me repeat, nearly as bad as they are now, and be spoken of pretty much in general, if these big content creators didn't heavily focus on it so much. There's a person on Twitter, this is a little side note, person on Twitter tried to start a second support strike, later on said it's just for clicks, pretty much. Guess what big content creators did? All focused on that, said these are why supports are crybabies, these are why they're boosted, etc. And now with this new CC change, people are complaining, Hulk mains are complaining, oh, my infinite CC ult where I can juggle the enemy for an infinite amount of time, where they can't do anything about it because they're stun locked. Oh no, that's getting nerfed. It's so unfair, they're nerfing him to the ground, he's dead now. Like, no, just be quiet. Just be quiet, the grown-ups are speaking now, just be quiet. He is not dead. A broken mechanic got taken out of the game, which was heavily unfun. If there's an unfun mechanic or an unfun character in this game where it takes the fun out of the entire match, they should not be in the game. Or at least not be strong. Who loves, be honest, do you love being CC'd to oblivion? Having zero options to save yourself, having zero options to have your team save you? Do you like that happening to you? Okay, no? Okay, do you want less of that? Yes, okay. Less CCs is good. The whole community was, or pretty much all the community, was heavily for that. Less CCs in the game is heavily better. That's heavily agreed upon. But once implemented, people realized, wait a minute, the broken text on my character no longer work because they're all CC abilities. I can't juggle person in the air for several meters and have them do nothing about it and get an infinite free kill right there. Man, my life is so hard. They said Rogue is now dead. No, she isn't. Rogue, she has 3 or 4 CCs in a row, which is her kick, up, down, and you get my point. These combos where you can't do anything about it, guess what? It's not going to be as strong anymore. There's actually some counterplay to it. White Fox ult is now actually going to be pretty good in terms of other support ults because guess what? You aren't going to be juggled to oblivion off a map for 20 seconds while your cooldown on your ult is expiring. That's no longer going to happen. Who loves ulting and then getting CC'd to hell? Not being able to do anything about it. It's like you just wasted your entire ult's worth of, well, ult because another person decided to hit space and left click a few times. People in this community need to stop overreacting. It's not the end of the world that your strong character gets a micro nerf. It is not everyone else's problem. It is not the dev's problem that you can't play your character anymore because they're not heavily lifting your own skill up. Meaning, the character is better than you are in the game. Lifting you up, boosting you. If there is a character that gets a micro nerf and you say they're dead, that says a whole lot about your skill other than the character. I hope everyone realizes that. If a character is bad and gets a nerf, sure, you can say something. Like Ultron, for instance. He was very weak, kept getting nerfs. He got his healing nerf for some reason on his one drone. Sure, can you then say he's dead? Sure. He's still viable. No character's truly dead. That's another thing people should learn. But when a good character gets a little slap on the wrist, they're not dead. They're just not. And I'll wrap the video up and I'll kind of simplify it to this. If you're in this community and your character gets a nerf and before you even get to play with the nerf you complain, that is not a dev issue. That is not a community issue. That is a you issue. The devs hold a lot of more statistics on their side than we will ever have. They know more about the game than we will ever know. Unless I am a dev, unless you are a dev, they will know more about the game than we do. That is the plain simple fact right there. Sometimes we'll question their choices. That's natural. Sometimes we won't agree with their choices and buffs and nerfs. That's natural. Sometimes we'll be confused of why they're adding a character instead of another one. That's natural. But once you get a micro nerf on your character and you hold a funeral for them and then say another role is overreacting, you really need to look in the mirror and actually reflect on your choices. People have complained, and this is another side thing, but people have complained so much about the first support strike, but that had way more backing to it than any of these funerals. Several big content creators were making fun of supports, calling them boosted, calling them no good takes, pretty much stupid, brain dead, no skill. Supports and tanks were getting less points in rank compared to duelists. The devs called that out. The devs said they're buffing supports because nobody is peeling for them. And they know more, like I just said, know more than anyone else about the game. The devs said supports were earning less and losing more compared to duelists, same with tanks, and that nobody was peeling for them, so they're buffing their self-reliance. Meanwhile, you had these big content creators trying to make fun of them, trying to prove their role is easy, calling them brain dead, no good takes, skillless, brainless, mindless, etc. Meanwhile, Torch got a movement rework and people are holding a funeral for him. Are you serious? Blade's been getting micro buffs for a while now to hopes not to overcorrect, and you guys are seriously holding a funeral? Daredevil got a few slaps on the wrist again. He's still #1 in win rates for several seasons in total and in Celestial and the buff, and you're holding a funeral? Hulk's infinite CC stun is getting nerfed. You guys are seriously complaining, saying he's dead? I'll end the video by saying this. Marvel Rivals community, specifically the people doing this, you need to grow the hell up. You just do. Or get the hell off the game, either or. Would be way better, not just for your mindset, but for the game in total. If you guys enjoyed this video, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next YouTube video. See ya.